Have you ever wondered what our world would look like if Christopher Columbus had never discovered the Americas? It's one of those classic history what-ifs. And while we'll never know for sure, it's actually not as out there as it sounds. Let me break it down. So first off, Columbus wasn't the first European to set foot in the Americas. The Vikings, Leif Erikson and his crew, beat him by almost 500 years, setting up shop in what's now Newfoundland. But their visit was short-lived and didn't kick off any lasting wave of colonization. By the late 1400s, Europe was buzzing with a race for new trade routes, better ships, and a hunger for wealth. Spain, Portugal, England, France, they were all itching to find a shortcut to Asia. If Columbus hadn't made his famous voyage, it's almost certain somebody else, maybe John Cabot, maybe Amerigo Vespucci, would have crossed the Atlantic soon after. Really, it was just a matter of when, not if. The world was already moving in that direction. Columbus just happened to get there first. But here's where it gets interesting. What would have really changed if it wasn't Columbus? Let's start with indigenous cultures. The most tragic part of colonization was the toll it took on the original inhabitants of the Americas. Violence, disease, enslavement, entire civilizations were devastated. If contact with Europe had come a little later, or from a different country with different policies, maybe some indigenous societies would have had more time to grow, to adapt, or to resist. Or maybe a different country would have brought a different set of problems. Then, there's the Columbian Exchange. Columbus's arrival kicked off a wild swap of plants, animals, and ideas between the Old World and the New. Imagine a Europe without potatoes or tomatoes, no French fries, no pizza, or an America without horses, cattle, or wheat. If discovery had happened later, these changes would have rolled out more slowly. History's menu, and its economies, would look totally different. Now consider the global power game. Spain's treasure ships, loaded with gold and silver from the Americas, briefly made it the richest nation on Earth. If Spain hadn't gotten there first, maybe England, France, or Portugal would have taken the lead. The entire balance of power in Europe, and probably the rest of the world, might be unrecognizable today. And here's a fun one: the name America itself. It actually comes from Amerigo Vespucci, who realized the land Columbus found wasn't Asia, but a whole new continent. If someone else made that realization, or if the news spread differently, the Americas could have had a totally different name. So in the end, while Columbus's voyage was a turning point, the forces that pushed Europe across the Atlantic were bigger than just one man. If not Columbus, someone else would have come along. But the timing, the details, and maybe even the map itself would be totally different. History sometimes comes down to the right person at the right time, but it's always shaped by the tide of events that surround them. Thanks for taking this what-if journey with me. Let me know your own alternate history theories in the comments.